Hey everyone, Marsh from Consequence here. I want to rapid fire the first two mythic bosses and then go over the additional bosses except maybe Fractalus in a more detailed manner. So first, Plexus Sentinel. Um, Very basic strategy. All you're really going to do here is drop left um, and then recenter. I do think it's technically more optimal to drop right if you're going to make it to the end of the fight, because the last intermission, if you drop right, it's technically slightly easier. So pick whatever one you like more, but the strategy is still the same. So you're just going to drop here. You move out. And then there's going to be a few mechanics. The first going to be the tank bomb. That's just going to be taken to the back opposite of where the raid is. There's going to be a wall coming every once in a while. You need to make sure your whole raid has the extra action button. And then just go through. I've helped a few guilds, and it's kind of surprising how little people have that bound or know about it. So, getting through the wall. And then you're going to get a soak mechanic. This soak mechanic, you would have basically split up your raid 50-50. The best way to do this is have your really immobile range players, aka maybe your priests, kind of stand on the outside and then always go in on the second one. But split that up 50-50 and you'll always be fine. Players can get in twice can always help, and you can balance it out doing that as well. And other than that, you're going to head into intermission. Having DKs here is really nice because they can grip them together like this. And then the key part of intermission here is just take it slow. You can Warlock Gate if you'd like to help you. But as long as you take it slow and you use your cloak to get through this wall, you are good to go. And then just don't get hit by any of these beams. They do a ton of damage. And it will just put your healers behind very, very quickly, especially as long as this cast goes on. Well, other than that, the phase repeats a few times, and that's it. That's going to get you your first kill. Just really nail those soaks and make sure everyone has the cloak bound. Next one here is going to be Soulbinder. Soulbinder is probably the easiest fight in the raid. So all you're really going to do, and I'm going to point out a few different things here that make it even easier, is this path we took is not optimal, but arguably the paths borderline don't matter. Phase blades are the only challenging mob in this whole fight, so the more phase blades you can take out, the better. So you can see there's a phase blade here. These assassins, you just do a run out mechanic, and the mages just do a cast. So you can see here we're positioning these orbs to hit these. This is the Mythic mechanic. You can actually just have these guys stand directly on top of the canisters, and that also works, and that's probably way easier. Either or works. And then these lines come out. Make sure there's no player in between the boss and these lines, and then you will be good. So right here, you can even see we messed up. So we actually have an additional phase blade on our kill, which is supposedly really bad, and we're 700 eye level if that. For these knocks, just try to stack up as much as possible. Anytime you do a knockback immune, this happens, which is really bad. But this is just going to repeat. So try to put these on top. And then the lines, you break them out, you cleave them. And you can see here, we're going far. But it might be even better just to go middle, just because the boss does a lot of troll casts, and it's really hard to move. But the goal here is for us, the first week, we're let's get as many phase blades out as possible. But other than that, you're going to hit the intermission. All the ads are going to come out, and all you're going to do here to kill this boss efficiently is you see phase blade, you kill phase blade. The boss will die. There's no enrage. There's nothing to worry about. If there's any phase blade up, you target it down and cleave off of that. Once the phase blades are dead, then you're good. So you can see a phase blade coming in. It's got 900 million health, and everyone needs to be targeting it. So you can see he's still going on the boss here, but I assume, he's mostly cleaving. I'm assuming most of the raid's killing it because you can see its health bar getting tanked. And that's the goal here. Kill phase blades. Other than that, you stack up again where you want to go. You get out. We have marks here on every single canister so we can communicate. And that's really it. That is this boss. One thing I want to note actually, maybe the only hard thing here. The intermission gives you a debuff that stacks up. He's not tracking it, but you can see, oh, he is tracking it. You can see everyone taking a ton of damage. They need to be dispelled. Ripping a bunch of MDs or a revival to clear all the debuffs is really, really good because it's just doing so much ridiculous amounts of damage right now. Other than that, you repeat, you pick your path, and you're good. Easy. Lumithar, this takes a little more setup. So with Lumithar, there's a few things you need to do. The first thing you need to do is you need to set up your pairs, and that's going to be here if this is readable. But if you go into his VOD, you will see it for sure. In this, you need to assign people to basically soak the Mythic mechanic, which is coming out here. And the way this works is you have odd group and an even group. The odd group people, they cover, you know, these are the groups. So like if star is active, then these two people do it. If orange is active, then these two people do it. The longer P1 goes, the more and more of them become active. Okay? Then when the even groups come, then it's this group. If star is active, this group does it. If, you know, orange is active, this group does it, etc. So each group is assigned to an odd or even, and it's up to your partner and you to dictate if it's being done properly. It's very hard for a raid leader to know that in the fight. So you can see here, he's a group 1, and green is active, so this is a good example. And green is being taken, and in about 7-8 stacks, the second person should step in, which they haven't. So he's going to turtle and go through. So that's a mistake by the person that he was targeted with. It looks like that person has a thread, which makes it really annoying. So they had to take it and then run out with their thread, and they're going to be taking a ton of damage. But that is the idea there, is you do a swap around 7 or 8 stacks. Next here, you're going to have dodges, and I'm going to kind of talk about how the other part of that fight works. So that's the soaks. These dodges are very annoying. So the idea here is range clearly are very, very good for these webs that are coming in, certain classes. Ailey Shamans, Devs, Warlocks are definitely the top 3. And the way this is going to work, this is the heroic mechanic. Tank hits it again, and then it's all working on this dodge timer. So we aren't doing this now because this was week 1, but the meta strat I'd say, or the more optimal strat, is your melee hit the tangle until the dodges come, and then you bait under. We're just kind of gaming it because there's no real strat. So like here, this goes off, melee hits tangle. Alright? Melee's hitting the tangle, melee's hitting the tangle, melee's hitting the tangle. Once this dodges is about to come, or this tangle dies, melee bait under the boss. So once you have the bait, which we're doing now everyone goes to the second tangle. So what we had to do week 1 is we had to stack all the OP classes and kick a lot of the melee out of the raid. So we were able to do it, but you can do it with melee if you are doing the hit tangle, bait, hit tangle strategy. And I'll call it out again one more time so it makes sense. You're going to have a run out here. Notice how all the tangles are placed in one area. Good. And they drop pools. And it's just going to repeat. One thing I want to note is you lust on pull in this fight most of the time because P1 is way harder than than P2. So it's a little safer. So here you're going to have a tangle. Again, if you're doing the melee be in this fight strat, the melee would be hitting this tangle right now. They'd be hitting. It'd be about dead now. They would go in and bait under the boss. And then once this bait happens, they go hit the tangle. Again, we're just gaming it here. It's making it way harder than it has to be. These debuffs, these threads, they do a ton of damage. So you get one, you have to take like a personal or some self-healing. And that's really P1. So that repeats, except there's more and more Mythic mechanic. P2, you can, for a tank, you can look at any boss movement you want from like a kill from a higher end guild. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. There's a bunch of ways how to do it. But the in short here is you set up 2 groups, and you have a melee and a range group. You want to have like ideally a few range in this melee group to help with the spreads. What we did here is we marked our melee healers so we could stay off them and they could heal. And then here, this is what does the damage. These circles do the majority of the damage. Everything else is kind of whatever. So when you're looking for personal usage, make sure you're doing it on the circle hit. And this is going to repeat. So that's the range group. They're going to pre-spread with this pushback. And see, this is why having range is nice here, because they're able to fan out more. And also note that depending on where you dropped in P1 changes the difficulty of this phase. So like here, we're really, really congested. But we're already scooting our way out of that congested area. So now we're in this open space that we made outside of from P1. And yeah, this is just going to repeat until the boss is down. A lot of groups start to lose people. It looks like our kill was extremely clean. You can kill this with a bunch of people dead, so just keep going. Other than that, that is Lumathar. So, this is a 3 boss package. Forge Weaver will be next, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.